Watching almost every single anime that's airing this season was no easy task, but through Come Sweat and Tears I accomplished my goals because I don't have a girlfriend or a life. What I do have is really good taste, so I hope you're prepared to witness the greatest anime tier list of all time. Also, if you aren't subscribed to me yet, I'm Echidna, the last surviving AniTuber that still watches anime, so hit that like button to support my anime addiction, and if you want to subscribe as well, just please do it gently, Oni-chan. Miss Kobayashi's Dragon Maid S conveniently told us what tier it is in the title. As expected, this second season of Dragon Maid is just as good as the first. If you haven't seen it yet, it's a wholesome comedy slice of life that features hilarious, adorable dragons, kinda like the one Keisan used to be. These dragons are used creatively to critique human society through smooth, natural comedy, yet the focus for a lot of people is the tits and lollies instead. KyoAni's doing a fantastic job though, and this anime is truly something special. S tier, highly recommended. The Dungeon of Black Company is the funniest isekai of the season. The main character was an evil corporate scumbag who probably worked for Blizzard, but he got isekai'd and basically became a slave in the new world. His personality is like a mix between Kazuma and Mr. Krabs, yet somehow he stays likable despite committing multiple war crimes every episode. The music and voice acting are perfect, and I really like this lolly even though she does nothing except eat. I'm giving this an A tier though. Scarlet Nexus is an anime, but it shouldn't be. There's no plot whatsoever, nothing happens, and the characters don't matter at all. Scarlet Nexus really took the care out of characters. Plank from Ed, Edd n Eddy had more personality than anyone in this anime. Additionally, the CGI is disruptive and the music feels uninspiring. The entire soundtrack is basically a Nirnroot. Alright, the opening isn't bad, but unfortunately I skipped it when I should have skipped everything else instead. D for dropped. Remain is a chill anime about water polo. The characters are likable, the story's not bad, and it's not a yaoi, but I do feel a bit gayer after watching it. I tend to avoid sports anime because sports are for people who go outside, but Remain isn't bad. It's a bit predictable at times, but if you're into water polo, swimming, or attractive men, go ahead and watch it. There should really be an L after this, but Remain is a B. Higurashi Sotsu, S tier. This is exactly what the series needed, and I think it's my favorite season other than Kai. Those phenomenal Higurashi horror elements have finally returned, and the magnificent direction is more stunning and beautiful than ever before. I remember back in my day, Satoko's entire personality was just Nini and traps, yet here she is, gradually becoming one of the best villains of all time. Also, Rika has definitely suffered more than Subaru. Jahi-sama has also suffered more than Subaru. This anime is about a demon lord who gets nerfed and reverse isekai'd and has to survive making minimum wage without her powers. It's basically The Devil is a Part-Timer, but lolly flavored. There's a lot of good comedy and even some wholesome stuff mixed in as well. I'm a fan, B tier. The Detective is Already Dead is a supernatural mystery action romance comedy drama psychological harem slice of life ecchi idol mecha isekai. Probably. There's only like one tag missing, and unfortunately it's the one that would have made this an S tier. The first episode was amazing, but after that, every episode felt like it came from a completely different anime. The story is littered with major structural flaws, and although I'm still enjoying it, I'm only watching for the waifus at this point. I've got a huge crush on Siesta, but my favorite character is actually God. This anime keeps bouncing between B tier and D tier. It changes so drastically every episode, I can't tell where it's gonna end up, so I'm just gonna leave it right in the middle at C tier. How a Realist Hero Rebuilt the Kingdom is probably the best new isekai of the season, even though it sounds extremely boring on paper. The protagonist is a capable guy who becomes king and tries to fix the kingdom's declining economy through innovation and political reform. It feels similar to Log Horizon or Tensura without the action. Despite that, the animation is beautiful and the voice acting and music are also impressive. Most importantly though, the world is crafted with such expertise that politics actually seem interesting for once. Really awesome, refreshing A-tier isekai. Remake Our Life is another anime where the MC goes back in time and gets a second chance at life. We've all seen a few other anime with that exact premise, but you know what? All of them are pretty good. and Remake Our Life is no exception. I love how the protagonist actually starts dating someone even though he could have easily gone the harem route instead. It's a quality anime, although a bit overhyped. I've seen people acting like this anime got them pregnant or something, but in my opinion, if I rank it any higher than a B, I would have to go back in time and remake this tier list. Tsukimichi Moonlit Fantasy is an isekai parody with fun humor and good characters. It's not gonna make you shit your pants laughing, but it'll entertain you while you're waiting for Konosuba to come back. Oh yeah, if you didn't know, Konosuba is getting a new anime sometime soon. Anyway, I love this gimmick where Tsukimichi's protagonist kills a giant monster, but instead of dying, it turns into a waifu that wants to sleep with him. If there's one thing I gained from watching isekai this year, it's definitely a spider fetish. B tier. When an unstoppable masterpiece meets an immovable dumpster fire, Kanojo mo Kanojo gets another episode. This anime is basically DLC for Rent-a-Girlfriend. It's horrendous, amazing, phenomenal, and atrocious. This is a C tier anime, but it actually would have been double S tier if it was a hentai. I considered making a new tier called Should Have Been a Hentai, but that would have eliminated the need for every other tier. Spirit Chronicles is an isekai that will be remembered for its main character getting gangbanged by Truck-kun, Bus-kun, and Train-kun. That's right, they literally ran a train on him. Even if this anime got the budget it deserved, it would probably still feel like a recap of every other isekai I've seen in the past. The characters in this isekai feel like they were isekai'd from other isekai. The MC is Kirito, the slave chick is Raphtalia, the maid is Rim, the list goes on, but it's not a bad isekai, just aggressively generic. C tier. Obey Me was a waste of my time even though it's only 5 minutes per episode. Unless you've played the game, there's no reason to watch this. It's about as enjoyable as hearing a reference you don't understand. I'm sure this could be anime of the decade when considering whatever context the game provides, but individually it's a D tier anime. Mother of the Goddess's Dormitory is an absolute factorpiece. Not only is the fan service really good, but for some reason the story is too. The characters have depth, the music is nice, and if you weren't impressed by the animation, you probably weren't looking in the right places. My only complaint is that the MC is like 12 years old, but to be fair, when I was that age, I was already fapping to hentai, so nothing's changed. I'm gonna give this a D tier, but this next anime is a lot better. Mother of the Goddess's Dormitory, the uncensored version, is at least an A tier. Not to be confused with an A cup. A cups do not exist in this anime. Other than Re:Zero, this is probably the best anime I've ever fapped to. Kageki Shoujo is a school drama series about a former idol overcoming trauma. Its depiction of sexual abuse and the PTSD that ensues was very well done and probably the most accurate and realistic portrayal I've ever seen in a cartoon. Despite it briefly becoming a horror anime whenever there's a flashback, there's also a lot of humor that never seems to miss. The music is fantastic as well, especially the ending songs, and this is just a really good anime across the board. Without failure, it accomplishes everything it tries to accomplish. I'm giving this a strong S tier. Peach Boy Riverside is an anime with a well-written premise, really good music, super interesting characters, and a subpar adaptation. The studio almost ruined this anime by making some very questionable decisions. I don't know why they messed with the timeline so much, but luckily the source material was strong enough to make it worth watching anyway, although it definitely deserves better. I'm enjoying this anime simply due to how much I love the premise, and the characters are pretty good too, especially the squid. But what this anime did best was convince me to read the manga instead. A tier story, C tier adaptation. That time I got reincarnated as a slime, Season 2, Part 2. It's rare for an anime to consistently increase the scale of its epic moments while also keeping the journey just as enjoyable as the payoff. I understand why the first few episodes were described as boring, but if you consider what just happened and what's about to happen, it makes a lot of sense to have a little break in between. I also think watching back-to-back setup episodes as they're airing weekly is the most underwhelming way to experience this story, but if you rewatch the entire season at once, you'll realize you witnessed a classic in the making. I'm a big fan of Tensura, so this double S ranking may be a little biased, but it's also objectively correct. The Duke of Death and His Maid is a rom-com without the com. So just a rom. It makes a few good jokes, but most of the time the humor is suppressed by the overwhelming sadness that accompanies this tragic story. The main character is deeply in love with his maid, except he suffers from a curse that kills everything he touches. Also, this anime suffers from a curse that turns everything into CGI. Personally, it doesn't bother me that much. I've seen far worse, but I know CGI in general is a deal breaker for a lot of people, so it's hard for me to rank this above a B. The Case Study of Vanitas is a new vampire anime with movie quality quality episodes and a really immersive atmosphere. I finally get how Twilight got popular because I severely underestimated how hot vampires are. The point is, whether the goal is to be lewd, funny, sad, or scary, this anime accomplishes it brilliantly. The direction is phenomenal, and Vanitas has the potential to be anime of the season depending on how good the ending is. For now though, I'm giving it a confident S tier. To Your Eternity started airing last season and made it to the very top of my previous tier list. Watching this anime feels like you're playing a gacha game with emotions. The story and world are extremely immersive, and every episode tricks you into thinking you're on an adventure instead of a couch. I will admit the second half of the season isn't nearly as good as the first. The animation quality is noticeably lower, and the first couple arcs were a lot more captivating than the current one, but even at its very worst, To Your Eternity remains leagues above most of the anime from this entire year. Double S. Uramichi Onisan is an anime with the comedy tag, except it's actually funny. I started watching this completely blind, so once I realized what it was, I had a good audible laugh. All the jokes were delivered perfectly, like when Fushi was humping this guy's back, for example. Or when this voice actor delivered the most realistic laugh I've ever heard. This anime does recycle a lot of the same jokes like I do in my videos, but even if it gets progressively less funny, it's still worth a watch, especially if you're an adult who hates their job. Personally, I love my job, so if you like the video, I might be able to keep it. B tier. The Iraten deities kind of flew under the radar. I've never heard of this series before, and neither have you, but we both need to watch it because it's S tier. Double S tier. This anime is so unique in every way, there's nothing I can really compare it to. It's definitely a seinen, but it feels more like a shonen for adults. That didn't make any sense, but neither will this. It feels like the 7 Deadly Sins mixed with Dragon Ball, mixed with Kill la Kill, mixed with Phineas and Ferb. Also, there's a rape scene. For once though, it wasn't used as fan service, and I thought they handled it a lot better than most other anime with similar scenes. All the characters have compelling storylines progressing simultaneously, and the fights, humor, and world building are executed in a smooth, creative way. If the rest of the season maintains the quality of the first few episodes, this'll absolutely be a contender for anime of the year. 5-Second Battle Game is essentially just a big, awesome tournament arc. If you happen to notice any attempted character development or plot progression, just ignore it because it's filler. All this anime has to offer is cool fights that involve a lot more strategy than actual combat. That's because no one has any excessively overpowered abilities, and the fights are all pretty even, so the characters have to use mind games to win. It's like watching two Z-mains with 9,000 IQ trying to outplay each other. But the reason this anime is called 5-Second Battle Game is because
that's how long it takes me to come.
Every episode feels like it's 5 seconds long. That's right, even with a D tier story, this anime was entertaining enough to climb out of Elo hell and make it to B tier. Drugstore in Another World is the perfect anime for anyone who needs to waste a bunch of time. There's absolutely no reason to watch this, but you know what? Whoever said you needed a reason to watch something? This anime serves its purpose as a fun slice of life, and it doesn't pretend to be anything more. There's cute lollies, no plot, bad jokes, and even a potion-making montage every episode. I wasn't kidding, if you need to waste time, this anime is a great way to accomplish that. It might feel like it deserves D tier, but it isn't bad, just aggressively mediocre. C tier. Tokyo Revengers is peak entertainment. Every episode gets your adrenaline pumping and ends with an exciting cliffhanger that keeps you hyped until the next one. Many of you disagreed with my S tier ranking last season, but it's probably the least boring anime I've seen this entire year, although there is one precondition. You absolutely must not analyze the plot, and don't you dare try to understand the time travel mechanic. If you think too deeply about this anime, you're gonna have a bad time. It's like professional wrestling in the sense that it's a lot of fun to watch as long as you don't take it too seriously. Tokyo Revengers may contain middle schoolers with face tats who smoke cigs and kill people, but as long as you can ignore the absurdity, you'll be rewarded with some S-tier entertainment. The honor student at Magic High School. Oni-sama, 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 Onisama, 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 Onisama. I'm Standing on a Million Lives Season 2 is an average isekai with an above-average main character. He might seem generic at first, but if you're watching Season 2, then you should already know how unique his mind is. I'm a huge proponent of watching generic isekai for stupid reasons like escapism and waifus, but this protagonist is definitely the best and most interesting part of the show. Overall, it's a C tier though, so if you're bothered by cliches, then maybe you should watch Sunny Boy instead. Sunny Boy is about... well... honestly, I still have no fucking idea what's going on. Perhaps with post-nut clarity it might make sense, but unless you've seen Rick and Morty at least 100 times, your IQ is probably too low to comprehend this anime. Of course, in a psychological mystery, the most important part is the conclusion, so this could end up being the next Steins Gate or the next Wonder Egg. It could go either way, but right now, I just can't tell if this anime is good or not, so let's just leave it up to RNG. Alright, I guess this anime is awesome. A tier. Last but not least, Baccarina Season 2 feels like Season 1 never even stopped. Super enjoyable anime with great comedy and a lovably stupid protagonist. The only reason someone wouldn't enjoy it is the fact that it's a harem that feels like a harem. But if you dislike a series because of the genre, then maybe you should watch a different genre. If you're someone who hates watching harems, how exactly did you end up watching Season 2 of a harem that you hate? I don't get it. This anime is awesome and I'm giving it an A tier. And that is my summer 2021 tier list, ladies and gentlemen. Or probably just gentlemen. Feel free to pause the video to bask in its glory, and if you disagree with any of these placements, please let me know your opinions in the comment section, and please like the video if you made it to the end, and hit that subscribe button to increase your girth. I'm even gonna plug my Twitter too, just because I'm that much of a whore. Thank you for watching, I hope I entertained you for 20 minutes. I'm out for now though. Keep talking about anime. Peace.